Welcome to Inquiry into Self. So, emptiness is closest to what we are. There's no name for what we are, but it's one of the closest things. And feeling emptiness, sensing emptiness, knowing emptiness from the inside is a practice. You can say an orange, but you don't know what an orange is until you've tasted an orange. You bit into an orange and its juice is exploding in your mouth. Well, the same thing with emptiness. We really don't know emptiness as a concept, as a word. We know emptiness by opening into the emptiness. Now, our habits are to have an anchor, have a framework of what is happening right now. Who am I? Who is out there? What should be happening right now? We come up with all kinds of ways to have frameworks. And life is constantly inviting us into the emptiness by destroying our frameworks. Anytime that we're just a little bit upset, life has gently destroyed one of our frameworks and invited us into emptiness. Every time that we're upset. So, upset is a doorway, is a portal into emptiness because it the upset is inviting us to let go of something we thought we needed. And when we let go of the idea that we need that, we're starting to move into more emptiness. So you can just think right now in your life, when was the most recent time that you got a little perturbed? We were taking a walk, and as we got to where the turnaround point is, my husband raced ahead, which he often does, to go where there's this place he might encounter a person he likes to talk to. I turned around and I didn't know, would he encounter that person? Is he going to end up catching up with me? Am I going to get back to the car before him? And how is that going to affect my schedule? So I've turned around, I'm walking back. He's still going in the in the outward direction. And I can feel the little expectation of, well, I would like him to get to the car by the same time I get to the car. And now I'm in an unknowing. What is actually going to happen? And that little bit of, oh, I wish you would just walk with me. That little bit was an anchor, an anchor of, well, this creates a known, this creates the structure that I think is going to make my day go the way I think I've planned it to go. So every time we had that little, there's the structure that we're holding on to. And so, I felt, oh, yes, I would like him to walk with me. And then I looked, okay, do I need that structure? Do I need him to walk with me? Do I need to know he's going to get back to the car when I get back to the car? No, I don't need those things. There's so many ways life can work out perfectly without those things happening. So the upset then invited me to just check and see, okay, what if I just totally let go? I don't need anything that I thought I needed. And flow. Just see. So as I let go of the structure, there's like this opening that happens inside. And a lot of people, and I would say this used to happen to me, when we first feel the upset and we're opening, there actually feels like loss or something. There actually feels like there's something negative. But that's just because we aren't used to the emptiness, so we associate it with something negative. Actually, that thing that feels like loss. And people, we can name it all kinds of things. We can name it abandonment. We can name it um, uh, anxiety. We can name it um, uncertainty. We can name it risk. Um, we can name it sadness. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can name it. And when we name it that way, we usually add on a few more emotions that make it feel defined again. We love to make things into a known form. But when we're wanting to know emptiness, then it's helpful to resist those temptations to feel it as irritating. Instead, the thing that feels like a loss, that feels like an uncertainty, that feels like a possible negative, we can feel instead that, oh, right, this is just open, unanchored, unoriented, not knowing. See, anytime that we're irritated, there's actually that not knowing is already there. And because we were expecting a knowing, we're adding the irritation. But if we just check below the irritation, already the thing we were anchoring to got removed. And in its place is a vacancy. And when we are friendly with the vacancy, now we're feeling the emptiness. Life just invited us to the emptiness party. So, if we've been wanting to make it into the emptiness party, we just got our invitation. So, below the irritation already is the emptiness, because that's actually what we got irritated about. We thought there was going to be a something there. Somebody was going to show up like they promised they would show up for us, or some money was going to happen a certain way that we thought it was going to happen, or whatever, a certainty. It could be, our car broke down, our house broke down, our person got ill. And so it feels like an addition of a negative, but really it was a removal of a certainty. It was the removal of the working house, the working body, the working car, the working whatever. It was removal of that certainty. And then there's this vacancy. We might add in, oh yeah, it's going to go bad, blah, blah, blah is going to happen. But, if we just check before we add in all of our projections, there's the vacancy. The vacancy is the emptiness. So first, we might just notice the sense of loss. And around a sense of loss, we add all those feelings of meaninglessness and hurt, disappointment. But that's again adding. So we can again just let those sit on the sidelines. We're not arguing with those as responses. We're not getting angry at them. We're just allowing them to be on the sidelines for a moment. All those reactions that we have, our hopes, our expectations of, whatever well-being or hope of whatever, closeness, whatever that situation is for you, those expectations being disappointed, we let that disappointment sit on the side and then feel the not knowing, the emptiness that life just invited us to. And okay, we've set aside the negative reactions, But there is this wealth of, I'm going to say positive. Positive is definitely a structure, definitely is not what it is, but friendly. The emptiness has a deep friendliness to it. Now, if our life has been really attached and protected, it's going to take some time to discover the friendliness of emptiness. But most of us, you haven't gotten this far if you haven't found some friendliness in emptiness, most likely. You can think of the friendliness of when you look out over a great expansive view of sky, especially at a sunrise or sunset, but just could be a blue sky with a few clouds. A lot of people love those desert landscapes where you just can see on and on and on, and it's just closer to monochromatic than some other landscapes. The emptiness has that kind of a feel to it. When you look out to the sky and there's open, a sense of the infinite, a sense of boundlessness. There's wonder and curiosity arise. And of course, we may have just experienced disappointment, so it may take a little being with the emptiness to feel into wonder and curiosity. But, just recall looking out to a sky and see if anything similar is available here now. This not knowing, this lack of orientation, lack of structure, lack of predictability is actually this vast openness, this vast not knowing, and yet there is something very dynamic and alive in this emptiness. So we're not bringing structure back in, but we're also noticing that the emptiness has a certain vitality, a certain vibrance. We actually receive something in the emptiness, which, logically, obviously is impossible. Emptiness is empty. But that vastness and the perceiving in that vastness has a certain vitality. And as you feel that vitality, and that vitality is something we maybe take for granted all day long. So it may not feel like anything in particular, but that vitality is effortless. It's there before we look for it. It's sustained without us doing anything. It's not harmable. So that vitality, it's really self-sustaining, and it turns out it's like nectar. It's sustenance. So the emptiness isn't exactly empty. There's no thing in it. But yet it is rejuvenating because of its natural vitality, its effortless vitality. So as we feel into the emptiness, we feel this effortless vitality, it's vibrancy, it's aliveness. It's very dynamic. This is not a dead emptiness. It's very dynamic. Now, as you feel into this dynamic nothing, our conceptual activity will try to put labels and rankings and turn it into nouns again. We're trying to get back into object mode. But we don't have to go with that. We can stay and feel, how is there, not as in a concept thing, but just feel it. How is this emptiness so dynamic without taking form, without being a thing, without being an object, without having a direction, without having an agenda? Just feel the wonder of this intense dynamism, this intense vitality. It's truly naturally self-sufficient and effortless and empty. And if our mind is trying to problem solve or go into its habits, just feel back into this thing, this essence, this emptiness that's dynamic. And as you feel into how dynamic this emptiness is and feel how boundless, vast, non-dimensional, it's not even in the realm of dimensions. Somehow we've superseded dimensions. It could be a point, and yet somehow all dimensions would fit inside of it. And as you sense this transcendence of all dimensions, you actually might feel some physical sensations in your body. You could feel maybe something in your chest or gut relaxes, or your head feels like it's become just a ball of space, or there might be tingling. Whatever those sensations are, let that be. That, and acknowledge that a little. That's that habitual process that we usually have of trying to put things into form, put things into structure, put them into concept, into plans, into alignment. That is falling away. And it's like our system is rewiring. So whatever those sensations are, great. Those are great sensations because the system is rewiring to tune more finely to emptiness. And as we're tuning in to the emptiness, there's that old habit of comparing, as we could try to fit it into labels. And let that be. We're not going to try to go into labels and structuring and how far have I gotten and is this bliss, is this not bliss? We're not going into labels. But instead, it's kind of like when you're tasting a fine wine and you want to get, that beginning flavor, that middle flavor, that end flavor. That's what we're doing. We're just savoring the emptiness and seeing, can we discern? Can we open? Can we merge into this emptiness with any more release. So just keep feeling the emptiness. Keep being permeated, opening and dissolving into the emptiness and to its vitality. And there's something about once we don't have any expectation, there's something very sweet, very harmonious, very right about this emptiness. It's flawless. And this dynamism is almost integrated into a type of wholeness. There's like no gaps, there's no errors possible. There's a natural preciousness. Now, these are the flavors that you might tease out. And see, what are the flavors that tease out for you? Maybe there's a radiant darkness and a mystery that is friendly. Or maybe there's a buoyancy, kind of a lifting support in the nothing. Or maybe there's a potency. This vitality is so essential. It's like all potential distilled into this potency. So real, so on and on and on, like it just doesn't have any beginning or ending, just this potency that's so somehow generative. So you might feel that. The emptiness has no limit, no container to it, no boundary to it. No security. There's no way that our old methods of security work in this emptiness, because there's no predictability. There's no repeating. It's constantly fresh. It's constantly new. There's no old methods of security, and yet this potency is not harmable and unending. So the essence flowing is unharmed. Just as you open more and more into this emptiness and rest as the emptiness without any boundaries. There doesn't have to be any Lisa form, any person form, any thought form. They're not even wisps. It's the emptiness is the priority, the foreground. There's more and more capacity to be the emptiness, to rest as the emptiness. And anything that was feeling negative or disappointing is now being replaced by the curiosity and by the wonder. And the mind isn't even able to be the sense organ here. There's something else. Something, for me, it sort of resides a little above and behind my heart. I guess there's some of it maybe around the third eye area, even the back of my neck, or the little point that's deeper and below the belly button. All of those areas kind of have threads into the emptiness. And there's just a primacy to the emptiness. Everything else is like, a very fine foam, because the emptiness is so potent, so constant. Really, that's the thing about the emptiness, is it's there. Without being anything, it's there. Like nothing else. And the wonder at how simple and effortless and whole and harmonious. There is this sort of harmony here. And there is no making it, forcing it. It's just natural. Just natural. So any expectation from the world of form just doesn't carry weight compared to this. The emptiness is so self-sustaining and full. And full emptiness, only this sensing can know full emptiness. This capacity to know full emptiness. This capacity is linked in with wonder and curiosity and a whole other type of well-being. It's the pathway into knowing that transcends anything temporal. It's not fleeting. It's timeless. So we just access this sense and rest in it. Just marinate as this sensing, knowing emptiness with its natural vitality. And while the old safety isn't there, there's a new sufficiency, more than sufficient. Because this emptiness is not harmed and it's constantly new. Almost like it's regenerating, but It's more real and vital than that term implies. And now we've entered the emptiness party. We can practice accessing this anytime that there's a little disappointment that's available. Anytime we just want to stop. Notice our energy body, maybe do a moment of Qigong, or maybe you simply notice your breath. Really, any sort of backward step is a step into the emptiness. Or it can be a forward step into letting go, being in the unknown, not having a foundation or an anchor. Instead, expanding beyond anything that could be anticipated or expected. Getting back into that open sky capacity of what we are. So enjoy emptiness.